Computer. Lights.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. I am fixing this bright light that has hit my face and is super, super bright. Better. Still didn't change the back colors, though. They're still red and purple, so we still have Autobot and Decepticon behind us. And this is the way it is. This is the way. Okay, daytime broadcast. Alright. Why are you set for? It should be 20? 20? 20, right? 20. That's reasonably lit. There we go, 20. There. Right? And if we do that, daily, daytime broadcast. Yeah, but I can see, like, this is the part that frustrates me, right? Because look here. Watch. Wait. See how it flickers? Like, it's getting the instruction, but then it's just going back to red. Oh, well. I don't know. Why? Why must you do these things? Okay. We don't have music, so we don't have. It's been a morning, so there we go. I still don't know how to fix my. There's like all kinds of stuff going on here. We're having a morning. Having a morning and things aren't. I'm feeling discombobulated. So, okay. Do that. Then I'll do this. I haven't done all my morning routine stuff. I can tell already. Things are out of control here. Out of control. Totally out of control. All right. This will help. All right, so let's go ahead and transfer over to here. All right. Sure, that was an important picture that my wife just sent me, but I can't see it. We'll get there. All right, back to work. So, originally, this particular piece had when we look at it originally here, you can see how the lines are really thick, and I want to get those down from being super thick because they're really, really, really thick. So that's what we're going to do here today. We're going to go back in. I thinned out the lines quite considerably, but some of these lines are going to have to be thick by the nature of things. So we'll have to go on ahead and figure that out. So right now, if we were to export this, this line work would be really thin, relatively speaking. We're going to go ahead and do that so that we can see where we are. Right. We'll set this for 2A. And grab you surfaces. And grab 2A. Right. You see how much thinner? Right there. Like so. It allows me to see that it needs to be moved over or moved back or moved around or something. Something needs to happen here. There we go. So now we've got kind of going on here. And look at that. The chair fits perfectly right where it's supposed to. Weird. It's almost like I planned it that way. All right. That should read pretty well. Let's give it a render and see. And that looks a lot more like what we're after. There. So, okay. Now that we've got this, we can start putting in the details that we need to put in, right? I mean, we've got to put in some details here. We can do a quick count by doing a wireframe on this with wire texture shaded and come in here from this side. Right, we want to kind of all right, so we got kind of that guy going there. Let's take a look here. So this guy is the dead center. So what I'm going to do is on the white layer that's here, I'm going to go ahead and actually I'm not. I'm going to put it on the layer above it. This is our center. Oh, that wasn't what I need you. Because this is our center right here. Except that it's not, is it? Because that's between two panels. So let's look again with where we are. Directly behind the captain's chair is what we're kind of looking at here. Okay, so kind of trying to figure out where this is directly behind the captain's chair. I feel like the captain's chair, it strikes the captain's chair, but not centered. Like this is the panel, right? This is the panel directly behind the captain's chair right here. So if we were to look at it, it's this guy right here as the panel. I actually put you in multiply mode so I can see through you. But it's off center to the right, which means the dead center for this is going to be 90% to the left side. It's so complicated. Okay. Because really it is mostly on this side. You're wondering, what are you doing? We're going to test this. Moving from the center to the center here, right? Nope, that's not it. How about here? We're going to do this. Try to bisect that right through the middle there. Okay. Knowing that that's the case, I'm going to take this, bring it back up. We're going to see whether this works like it's supposed to. Save as structure to be. Right? Directly behind the captain's chair. Good. So we need to do this because we need to center the seal of the ship behind her. So that when she's communicating with people, it's got the ship's logo directly behind her. So that's what we're after here. The problem is we have like no concept of an altitude here. So let's turn off the shells and the struts. I'm somewhat aggravated. That's not centered, straightforward. Like, I really wouldn't mind if the chair was off to the right. I don't know. That seems like that'd be close enough that it's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things. Maybe. Because that probably should be where we are. But it's not centered now on the thing. Oh. Maybe what we need to do is not think that way, but think this way. Which means this is off, but this is still aligned and that's straight. So we can go back and fix the mapping on the floor if we need to. But it's still going to make me go, okay. The other thing we're going to need to do today is fire off a transfer tube. Right? We've got these transfer tubes we're going to have to do at some point today. So that'll be good. A lot of crap on my. All right. So now we've done this, I actually am not because now it feels like the alignment is, so this line comes straight down like so, and really pretty much is this line. Makes me feel like that's still problematic. Yeah. We've moved it 3 centimeters. 3 centimeters. Okay. Now it makes this the middle line right ish. All right. So that's all one line. So I can just move it over. So what we're going to do here. It's the top of that right hand peak, is it? And that's the main line going back, isn't it? It's the middle one. Right. The middle one's the one the center, which is where this is, centered on the middle one. Okay. So that's center. All right. Done. That was easy. That was easy. Yeah. I'm going to do a couple of other things here. Okay. Super big. There we go. pen. I'm going to go for a technical pen and like a 2. How do I get that ruler to stay? That didn't help me any. Oh my God, no. Okay, you opened everything. You did. You opened everything. That's nice. Thanks. Ugh. That's what I wanted. That's all I wanted. There we go. Hey, Hone. Doing good. How are you doing? Hope everything is doing well for you today. Good friend, Hone. All right, let's see here. We're just adding the widgets that usually go with oh, you've been driving all day. That sucks. Well, I don't know. I like driving, so it all depends. It also depends on where you're driving. Some places are kind of terrifying. All right, looking at the underside here. If we go under this part, is that where that light is? That light's there, isn't it? Because I think that's fair to put that light right here coming from this cross point here. You're on vacation. Well, that's good. Sometimes vacation's important. Actually, a lot of times vacation's important. Yeah, I think we're going to go with that. So I'm going to put the light unit right here. Make it look more like it's aimed backwards this time. I don't know if anybody's going to notice that. Probably not. But in case somebody does notice that the light actually looks like it needs to look like a light of some sort. Because that light's aimed at that shell. That's inside the bathroom, so I'm not that worried. It's good. That's good. Both of you guys need to relax. You had a pretty stressful time, though. So that makes some sense. I think that's good for both of you. Am I on the right layer? Yes, I am. And still messed it up. That's nice. All right. So we're just adding graphics at this point in time so that it looks like you'd expect it to look. Um, as far as like a spaceship, it should look like a spaceship. It is a spaceship, so there's that. That's why it looks like a spaceship. No, goes this way. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah. There we go. There. Like so. We're just doing a whole bunch of these things. Where are you headed to? You can, I mean, you don't have to tell me, but I'm curious. I'm always curious about these things. I love vacations. And I don't vacation much right now, so I'm going to end up living vicariously through you. Which I think you probably got through context there, but vicariously means to try to experience something with somebody else or through somebody else. Since I won't be able to actually be there, obviously. I don't like that one. Is it scam likely? It's not scam likely. Oh, good. I love cafes. So I went to um, when I went to Paris. We were in this little cafe on this Seine. My sister and I went, and it was just good because my sister speaks French and I do not. So, however, next time we go to France, my wife has been learning French. So I think that the battle plan here is for her to speak French while we're there, which is useful. As the battle plan, she is speaking lots of French now. But yeah, we went to this really cute cafe right by the Eiffel Tower on the River Seine, and it was cool. Right? It's story time with Guy. I don't know. It was just a cute cafe. I liked the cafe. It was very interesting because the waiter spoke fluent English, and I expected to not speak at all. I expected that I wouldn't be talking when we were in France because my sister could speak French and German, and so as long as we were in Germany or France, I couldn't speak either of those. When we're in Japan, I do all the talking because I speak Japanese, but I don't speak French or German. So that was an interesting thing. So I just liked it. I love little cafes. I think they're great. And my sister said, "What do you want to do when you go to France?" And I was like, "I want to eat French bread." And she said, "That's it?" Uh, right? I love the old cafe vibes. They're so, I don't know, quaint. Not no, quaint's not the word. Cute. They're cute. I like cute. Cute is good. In much the way that Japanese use kawaii, right? Cute. Super cute. So, okay. Got paneling going up here. That looks fine. You mean 1800s or 1900s? Yeah. That era, it was a good era. It was a very good era for us. Okay, I put in paneling up here. I don't even know. Now you've just got. See, now the rollers are all screwed up. Yeah, don't show up. Yeah. I like that too. The Victorian era. I'm gonna save as. Call this 2C. Let's load it into the scene, and we gotta grab this guy here and hit this and go like this. Say browse. I'm gonna hit 2C. And now we get paneling. Good. 2C. Let's put it just on normal texture. And we look right here. And if we hit render, what does it look like? There we go. Now it looks like there's paneling up there. It looks like the upper deck is built with panels that are kind of stuck together. Artwork wise, I will always love, there's always so many different eras that have a great vibe. For me, I really dig Atom Punk, which is the 1960s with that futuristic retro future sort of feel. I love that. I think I'm going to have to make the back of the bridge, and I don't want to. I'm kind of trying to avoid it until the last possible minute. Oh, there's nothing weird about that. I love pocket watches. So now looking at this, let's make sure that we've got all the icons are correct. Okay, that actually looks pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I agree. Okay. Starting to feel like the bridge is coming together to look like an actual bridge. Starting to feel like what I see in my head. We need to do a transfer tube to the right to make sure that it's set up, but I think all the artwork is correct now. So it's getting solid. I think it's feeling more like it should. And thank you. All right. The underside. I need to do the underside of this bridge piece right here. This guy. Because he needs to be And get him with more of that. The paneling sort of thing going for him. Hello, Second Breakfast. Glad you guys are having fun. Have a roll or something at the coffee shop and think of me. Not having a roll. or something. And she went right back to sleep. That's all right. All right. Right? You're supposed to be. Aren't you the one on vacation? All right. There we go. We'll do some of this. We're just giving it some aesthetic so that it feels like it should. We want it to feel like a part of the Unity, and Unity has a graphic design, and we've already kind of come up with sort of a feel of what that graphic design looks like. Yeah, right. You should sleep. Well, I mean, it depends. If you're on a motorcycle and you're trying to sleep, I don't know if that's going to end like we want it to. Just saying. I don't know if I could sleep on a motorcycle. There we go. Like so, like so. Just going to add some paneling over here. This goes into the bathroom. We need a bathroom. That's going to be part of that bathroom there. Right? And there's. So then I'm going to take. We're going to add a layer. I'm just going to put in a light fixture. And I added a layer so that I could apparently get really lost as to what tool I'm using. There we go. Add a light there. We'll duplicate the layer and add a light here. We'll duplicate the layer and add a light here. Because we're going to be, this is close to the door, right? So we're right on the door. So we want to make sure that there's a lot of lighting that'll ultimately be. And this hallway it's a hallway. So it's, it's not like it's super bright over here anyway. As a driving instructor, I have to say, don't text and drive. Because that's actually super, super dangerous. It says bad as drinking and driving. Did you know that? Texting and driving is as bad as drinking and driving. You are equally as impaired. You have a headphone for a reason. Yeah. All right. I feel like we've got lights going on here. The lights all look like they're reasonable. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go like this. Nope. Let's screw that up. There we go. Yeah. Noise canceling headphones are kind of pricey. All right. Paneling is in for that part and that section over there. This section is going to be underneath the transfer tunnel, the transfer tube. So I don't even know why I went through all the trouble to make all that pretty, because you're not going to see it. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. There we go. Now we're going to save as, and we'll do this as D. D. There we go. Now we get all the information, all of the paneling on the top of the roof that looks very much like it's. Okay. Yeah. BP, don't die. Don't die. See you guys later. We'll see you Monday. Bye-bye. How far do I have to go? Okay, fine. Doesn't really matter at this point. All right. So now we've got. So what we're going to do is this. There were lights on this before, so we're going to put lights back in. And the way we do lights for this is that we do a new layer. And we select just the light bulbs in the old layer. Oops. Make sure we apply to connected pixels only. we go up to this upper layer and take this and we go white. There. We do the opposite on this. I only like this 33, which is the color that we've been using for everything else. And we hit deselect, right? And then we say save as, and this becomes structure 2D ambient. The idea being that there's always sort of an ambient light going on here, right? So take the ambient side and we go browse, we bring up this, right? And we say ambient color, and it goes all the way back up. And you're like, oh no, we've messed it up, except that it looks right when we render it, except that all the lights are on. See? And that's how we make the lights glow without having to worry about. So the thing is, this takes a lot of prep work, and there is a lot of prep work going on here. However, once the prep work is done, all of this is good. We don't have to worry about it anymore. It'll be fine. So that's what we're doing. We'll never have to deal with the this kind of sort of prep work kind of thing again. So once we build it, it's built, and we can render in the bridge anytime we want. And there is going to be pages of comic that are going to be on here. So the more time I spend here, the better we are, the better off we are. Did you just gallop in here? Goofy cat. Did you gallop? You galloped? Are you into galloping? You're all like gallopy cat. You know that, right? If you come up here, I'll scritch you. If you want scritches, I'm all about scritches. I'm not going down there for you, though. Okay, we're going to fix up next. We have in the general interiors, we'll work on. Oh, there's lockers. We could use a locker in here. Actually, a locker might be exactly what we're looking for. I've got a lot of noticing a lot of things didn't make it over to the new setup. Like I've got desks and things like that in here that I could use looking around. But I'm not seeing the thing I need, which is I need to be in right. I need this guy, which I don't know if he ever got. Yeah, he did. He got straightened out. Did we just not export that? Transfer tube. Oh, that's why. It made it. It just didn't. Did we export you? Like, did we do that work? Or did I not do that work? Because I've got, like, did I export this guy? Yeah, okay. Okay. We did. We did all the work. Just clearly didn't get to this next stage. That's not a problem. Transfer tube is in interior textures. What are you doing, cat? Don't chew on that. You know what? I need a break anyway. Oh, making you stop chewing things is good. Weirdo. You're a weirdo. You're a weird little cat. Weird little cat. All right. I'm going to stand for a little bit. Transfer tube narrow. So what we need. It didn't transfer anything. Because with Blender, the default mode for everything is to not do the job. Right? Like, if you go to export layout, make sure you click all UVs and modified, because otherwise it's not going to do it. It won't do it. And that's bizarre. Like, the default mode for this is to not do the thing you're supposed to do. I mean, that's the default mode. I don't get that. All right. Never understood that. By default, we don't need this either. And again, we're kind of at that point where it's Brian is having a problem with his parents at this point, so they're both in the hospital, and so we're hoping his parents get better, because that's sucky, very sucky. All right. Here. And the first thing I'm going to do is take this and say outline selection. We'll draw on the border 3 pixels. We'll deselect. Right? Now we have an idea of where the tube is. here's the... Oh, that didn't work. That's the deck. And this should be pretty easy. All we need to do is this. I feel like this guy could just be kind of this. Now, I wonder if I can get sort of a... You know what I mean? Like... I feel like the angle on this is going to be really weird, and I'm going to be like regretting my life choices. Oh well. We'll see. I may decide this is a bad move, but we won't see that until we get to the stage where we're ready to do this. So, like, that should look like emergency striping. It should, but I don't know. I feel like it won't. Okay, so for the bridge, we want to make sure that I firmly, by the way, for those of you wondering, I absolutely firmly believe in the Denise and Michael Kuda. Nothing can be made worse without or by putting duct tape on it. Big black lines always work, and it looks cool, and everything likes it, and it's all good. This is just going to give us a feel of what's going around the transfer tubes. So they should be well aligned and nicely dark. In some places, like so. And this is the inside of the transfer tube, and I don't think we're going to see inside the transfer tube for right now. So now if I grab my Electric Horizon book, which I have made, I'm going to look at the deck plans because this is B deck and C deck is what that is. So this is going to be B. Which we will decide that the military is going to just keep using English letters for coding because they think it's funny. I don't know. Probably not funny. Alrighty. Because the last thing we really need over here, last thing we need over here is we need the transfer tube, the narrow transfer tube, right? Because that transfer tube is part of the bridge. We need to do it again. We need to turn off the bridge shells so I can see what's going on. Now, we've talked kind of about this a little bit before, and I am hoping you are not as screwed up as you look. That would be really disappointing. But I am afraid you might be. All right, let's take a look at it. We'll take on the specular. We'll load, transfer tube narrow, bring up that specular color to white, and the ambient color. Oh, wait, no, that's specular. What am I talking about? Specular goes to there. You are none. You are transfer tube narrow. You need to be 30% gray. You need to be transfer tube narrow and white. All right. How badly mangled is it? And why is it? Whoa. Well, that's unexpected. So the B side is flipped. I feel like I could fix this. Looks like we have some work to do. I'll try on the shells too while we're at it. Make sure that you're going to be well within that tube ensconced when you come up here. That's all right, though. I mean, it's going to get, you're just drifting up the tube, so it's not going to be a major deal. But it is going to be interesting if that's the way that's going to look. So there's that transfer tube. I feel like I should build a transfer tube per unit or per deck. I feel like my error here is that I went 2 decks and I really shouldn't. And the more I think about this, the more I think I should do 2 decks or by deck. And I'm going to regret that. But that way I can, the bridge will have 2 of them, but most decks will just have 1 transfer tube sitting in the center of the deck. The more I think about this, the more I think that's probably what I really want to do. Yeah. Because we need a few things. Like we need handholds on the side of the transfer tube so you can grab them. But if they were deck specific, then the transfer tube down here wouldn't be okay. They're going to be deck specific. What does that mean, guy? What do you mean by deck specific, huh? Let's do new general. Save. Yeah, sure, whatever. Just so we get this done. Okay. We're going to do add mesh. We're going to add a cylinder because we're good with the cylinder, right? We're going to make this cylinder 3 meters high. That's a deck size. Except that it wasn't, was it? We decided 3 meters was super, super, super high. What did we decide on here? Because that's not 3 meters. That's 3 meters, but it is 3 meters to this deck. So it doesn't matter. We just need to make sure that we're not at 3 meters for the door. That's fine. but the decks are 3 meters high. So we're going to go to edit mode. Gotta make sure we're in naked mode. And grab that. And we're going to go up to 3 meters. So we're at 3 meters. I actually think I'm going to... You know what? We're not going to do 3 meters here. We're about 10 centimeters short of 3 meters. We're going to extrude to, right there. And then I want to just take you, we're going to say much smaller, like to there. We're going to go down. We're going to say extrude. And that is the connector to the top. And that way we can have, it'll be very thin and narrow at this like connector piece, but it won't be super bad. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We got this under control. We got this. And so now we've got the connector to the top of the tubes, so to speak. Okay, and we're going to look at this from the top view. I select everything. We now have a 2 meter by 2 meter tube. Actually, there. Slightly larger than 2 meters by 2 meters because you want the hull piece to be there. Let's sneeze. All right. Now we've done that, we're going to go into object mode, add mesh, cylinder. And this cylinder, I'm going to go ahead and just bring him up in size, like so. Right, because now he's just slightly larger than the other cylinder. And go to the side view like so. We'll go like this. Go into naked mode. Make sure we're in naked mode. And we're going to do this at the 1.5 meter mark. And whatever is our deal here. So here's the 1.5 meter mark right there. Like so. Make it just slightly larger, just enough that there's a band going around it. It's a pressure band. It'll hold the tube together so the tube won't corrupt or explode or whatever. It doesn't really matter. So there's that. Anyway, I'm just making up stuff. So we're going to take then and go to object mode. And we're going to select you and do the Boolean thing. We're going to take a Boolean. We're going to onion it. Onion. I'll take you. I can't do that. Okay, we'll try it again over here. There we go. Do it again. Forgot to say apply. Like I said, Blender has an awful lot of, the default mode is to not do anything, which I guess makes some sense, because if the default mode is that way, then I don't know. Anyway, not sure what to think about it. So at 2 meters, a 2 meter door in this, would be kind of interesting. Wish I knew where it was going to start the seam. I mean, I could set the seam. And it makes some sense to set the seam then. We might do that. Anyway, okay. Let's talk a little bit about doors, entries. And you want really an entryway to be about 1 meter by 2 meters. So we're going to add a mesh. We're going to call it Gilga. Okay, that's fine. Well, all right, we are going to bring actually this down quite a bit because we're going to just make rounded corners of this. There we go. Now we'll zoom in. I'll take you and we'll push you to the wall. And then we'll take you and we'll push you to the wall. Then we'll take you and we'll push you to the ceiling. We'll take you and we'll push you to the floor. But not quite, because you have to step over the threshold. There. And now what we have is a Spam box-sized mystery meat thing door. Looking at the top, take this guy, we're going to move him. And the question is, how much is that doggy in the window? The question really is, where can I place him so that he will be in the right spot? I kind of want this door to stand out from the transfer tube. So the ring is going to come up on him, the transfer tube, etc., etc., etc. So what we're going to do is we're going to take you, add a modifier and a Boolean. We're going to onion them together, right? So it makes it one piece, like so. We'll accept that. And we're going to take then the Spam, and I'm going to shrink him down just a little bit. I'm going to take him, we're just going to shrink him down so that it works. So like so. I do this, and then go into edit mode. Take just the top half of him and line it up again, like so. Right? We need to make sure, because we're about to negative Boolean this, that it goes all the way inside the casing here, because we're going to ultimately drill out this casing too. However, we're not going to drill out. We got to go quite a ways into this casing to drill it out. So we're going to have to do some work here. I do object mode, U, add modifier. We're going to take a Boolean. We're going to take difference. We're going to do that. We're going to zotch it like that. Okay. And that gave us a door. Which looks very much like so. So now we have an entrance into sort of the transfer tube in here. That's how you get into the transfer tube. I like this a lot. We're getting there. We're getting there, guys. All right. So now we're going to do this. We're going to add another Gilgamesh. And do that. I'm going to shrink this mesh down to here. And like I had said before, not going to be very thick around this wall on the transfer connectors, but it'll be fine. So then we'll take, and we'll go to object mode. We select you. We say Boolean. Wait, before we do this, check your left side, because I'm sure, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Let's go to edit mode again. Not you. Object mode. Edit mode. Because we need to actually raise him up so he blows a hole all the way through the section here. Now we do difference. There. Just like that, folks. And there's your inside of the transfer tube. Entrance to the transfer tube. There we go. Easy peasy. And delete you. There. The next part's going to be a little harder. We need to think about handles, but I don't want them to be complicated. All of this thinking is because I'm like, well, I really don't want it to be complicated, but it's going to be complicated. The stop also here is because I'm trying to think through ribbing. Like, I think there maybe needs to be, if I put ribs on this, on either side, all the way around, then it won't look weird when it's. The problem with round things is they look weird unless we just make them black. Well, we don't want the transfer tubes to be just black. That'd be ridiculous. It'd look horrible. And the question really is, can I just put ribs on it? And will the ribs be okay? If I put ribs at a specific interval where you can see them around the edge of the transfer tubes, then we'd be able to see them no matter what. Like, we'd be able to, like, if you put a, let's say, because from here, this is sticking out far enough that we'd be okay all the way to, say, here with that. If that was a rib that was sticking out, it would be fine. So I'm wondering if I can do say 6 or so ribs, and it maybe 8 ribs. Well, maybe not even 8. We don't need to do 8. They don't have to complex either. I'm just thinking through how to do all of this. I think it's interesting when we talk about this. This is such an interestingly radical concept that, like, my buddies are having a hard time getting it. Like, it's so radical. They're like, but what about the scenes where you have Kirk and Spock in the turbo lift talking to each other? Without turbo lifts, you can't talk to each other. You know what? I'm going to have them talking in somewhere else. But the truth of the matter is, it's 10 meters. And 10 meters, if you can just grab a handhold and push, you can grab another handhold and stop. And in 10 meters, it's that fast from the gun deck all the way up to deck C, to the Orlop deck. And so there's no real reason. I mean, that would take 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds, So the more I think about this, the more I'm like, yeah, we're just gonna do this. I think what I'm gonna do is not put ribs in per se. I think I'm gonna put in ribs on the graphic design. And then that way it'll have little ribs going around it, or metal piping or something, so that there will always be something that looks right around the edge. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. That's what we're going to do. Okay. We're also going to look at it from one side here, because I think actually we're going to go into edit mode, object mode now, select edit mode, and I really feel like I can get a little further in these guys right here. Less of a tripping hazard. There we go, like that. A little bit less of a tripping hazard down there. Because otherwise it's going to do what the other one just did, which was blow itself apart inside there. All right. Now I should be able to select just right. I don't know why they're not lined up. That is a little weird. I think they should be level to one another, like so. There we go. Just so it's not a tripping hazard, Give them some help here, guys. And the thought also is that if I were to do this, no. I'd put in a very small ledge for grabbing onto and also taking off from. So I'm not going to put a lot of a ledge in here, but there's going to be allegedly a ledge. There we go. We're just putting a ledge in here. There. And actually, let's not make it sharp. Let's pull it back just a hair. Doesn't need to be sharp. Why is this not aligned properly? That's so weird. Anyway, so when you're in the tube, you'll see these ledges. You can grab them and pull yourself along and just keep going. And as you go up another deck that's stop, grab the ledge and then push yourself just a slight amount, grab the top and move inside. And so those ledges will help you just a little bit moving up and down through the decks. It also helps you find the deck. Right? You can just grab the deck ledge and move up and then move down. Yeah, you can see that. But just a little bit of a takeoff point, something to kind of grab onto and stuff like that. All right. We've done this part now. Now I'm going to do the I feel like there should be handholds, but I feel like the handholds actually could be on either side. In fact, it'd be kind of cool if it was, right? If they were on right here. So let's do that. Go into objective mode, add mesh, add a cylinder, because I like these cylinders. I shrink it the heck down so it's very small. All right, move it outside of the shell. So what we're going to do is this. Okay, going here. Right now it's not touching anything on either side of the shell, so I'm going to go ahead and knock it all the way out like so. You're like, what the heck are you doing, guy? What the heck are you doing, guy? Are you sure? Are you deft? So we're going to do that, and you can see what we're doing here. We're kind of going across, so you've got handholds on either side. And just grab this guy, add modifier. We're going to go Boolean difference U, right? And then apply. Take you, and then we're going to remove you. And then what we've got now is handholds on either side. So you can now grab the door on either side there and just kind of right? And the question really is, how does that look? I think it's a good handhold. Maybe not. Right? Because I'm thinking maybe I want to back up 2 steps to here. Here. And then I'm going to move it forward. Like there. Right? Because I feel like that's better. There we go. Handholds. The only other thing is, I think I would like to have arms at the top that kind of look like they're supporting an upper strut control of some sort. What if there were windows? I mean, does it have to be a solid tube with, no seeing out of it at all? I mean, no, I don't think so. We can make little windows on each deck. I think it'd be great. Let's do windows. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll go ahead, since we're already in object mode, we'll add a mesh. Back to Gilga and his mesh. Right. Shrink you down. Shrinky dink. Yeah, because like here would be a decent way to do a window, right? We were doing this. Go to naked mode, edit, Nothing says you're on the wrong deck like looking out the window and realizing you're really freaking on the wrong deck, guys. Look at the top. I don't want to cut too much into the existing Boolean because this is going to become an unpleasant internal area, but there's no reason not to make it do effectively that, right? Let's bring this in just a little bit. Right? Now, if we were to look at it, it's got windows. Right? So you can see through as people are going wee 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 wee, you know, like flying along there. And artificial light, right? We don't need to worry about it being super dark inside that container every time. And I dig it. Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. We've got transfer tubes. Tell your friends. The only problem is I'm going to want to put something in there. Because right now it's wide open. Right? We don't want it to be wide open. It's a window. So I feel like we're going to have to put the glass in. Otherwise, it's just wide open. So let's go ahead and do that. In fact, it looks like pretty much the cylinder would be ideally glassy big enough, right? Big enough for the glass right there. And actually probably the appropriate size for the glass. So all we need to do already for this is this. We're going to take this guy. We're going to just duplicate him. And this guy, we're going to shrink a small amount, but not quite enough to be inside the. We want to be inside the smallest part of this ring, right? The entrance ring. So then we're going to take this guy. And for the moment, we're going to take you and turn you off, okay? Because now we need to deal with these two cylinders. This guy's slightly smaller. We'll make this naked mode and then go to edit mode and Edna mode. And we will do this and this. And then we will do the old Boolean and a Boolean thing. I'm just asking for it here. I'm just saying. Do Boolean difference U. Apply. All right. Now what we have is the windows. So we bring in this guy. We just verify that all we have in here is this. Ugh. See how much of a problem this is going to be. Because I don't actually want it to delete the door of this. We've got to make it a C. So what we're going to do is we're going to select, we're going to go into edit mode. We're going to go to face. We're going to get these faces, right? These ones right here, your face. We're going to use you, and we're going to delete. We're going to say faces. We're going to take these guys. We're going to delete faces, your face. And then we're going to take the primary piece here. We're going to take that. I feel like this is one of those, don't do that. Do it this way. Have vertices. So we'll take you and vertices. Oh, noes. So we're cutting this hole. Okay. Then what we're going to do, we're going to take these four. We're just going to make a face. I don't want to spend too much time on this because this is going to be a Boolean. So we do want to make sure that it's sealed. Because not sealing is a bad thing. So we're going to go ahead and do this. We'll go face. And we'll say you face, you face, you face, and you face. Do the same thing on the bottom because we know we blew that out. And you face, you face. Dang it. You face, you face, you face. We're just going to go in here and we're just putting in faces. Fixing up the Boolean so that it's solid. Because we really don't want this Boolean piece. We're about to add it to the other guy. And if it's not solid, the Boolean will blow. We don't want the Boolean to blow out. So, okay. Bring in this. Now we don't have anybody in the doorway, just the windows. So, we can now go to object mode, U, and we say Boolean. And this time we say union. And we hope this works. Right? We don't know. I don't know. It looks pretty solid. Good. So in the mesh, we want it to be solid because what we're going to do is I'm going to put a 50% transparency on it or something. But inside, you're going to be able to look out every time you go up a deck when we're inside the transfer tubes. And that's going to be important. So there's that. I'm going to make sure this guy, delete him. Deleted 0 objects. Well, there's that. There we go. So now we've got this guy. Transfer tube. He looks cool. Tell your friends. Transfer tube. Probably should be rack inside. Like just grab. Stop yourself. I still kind of feel like I want like struts up at the top. Oh, because I really do. I really feel like I want like some kind of struts or something at the top, but I feel like I have a very clean aesthetic, and I don't know if I want to mess with that. I don't think I want to mess with that. I don't want to mess with that. Okay, we're not doing it. Let's go over to our UV layout. because this is probably a complete disaster area, I'll bet you. It's a complete mess. We knew that. We knew that, right? We knew that it was going to be a mess, so it's all good. I don't even know if it knows what it's talking about now. Oh well. Mapping this will be unpleasant, but not horrible. Right, we'll do the insides first. That's probably the easiest. And I mean, legitimately, it doesn't look like it needs much assistance. The design looks like it's pretty much holding as it was. So, yeah, so the inside of the tube looks fine. Just leave it like it is, right? We managed to snag everybody, yeah. And we'll grab the windows while we're at it. Doesn't know what to do with the windows, but it's okay. All right. So the good news is it looks like the inside of the tube is pretty straight up. Doesn't need to be transferred much. Whoa. Need to grab it like that. And that should be okay. You know what I mean? That'll be fine. We are at 11:01, guys. So the odds are good that we're probably going to be doing a stream tonight. So if you want to join me tonight, you can. I will be here. And we'll be continuing on with transfer tubes. That's an important thing. Right, so we'll be doing that, and that should be okay. I'm just going to move this guy down and put him in here so that I know he's in there, and that'll be fine. Ooh. So we'll be completing our task with the transfer tubes tonight and putting in the transfer tubes in the bridge. And then once that's in place, then the best part about this is these transfer tubes will work just fine. Oh man, I need to stand up. They'll work just fine for anything else. They'll work for that scene that we've got, which was already built. And now I've got walls and doors and hallways that we can build. And then there's a transfer tube. So once we have the transfer tube and everything like that, you can see Chang as she jumps up, goes up the transfer tube, will be fine. So we're good there. This is actually building all of the pieces that we need to get this done. So I will see you guys tonight if you want to join me. If not, I'll see you next week. In the meantime, keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye.
Computer, Good night.